So I just got done watching Alien Romulus on digital. It was released this past Tuesday, and let's get to my reaction. So the story of this movie, we have this crew who wants to salvage these parts from the Whaling Corporation. So what happens is they want to salvage it, and they want to go. So they find this abandoned ship to go on to salvage the parts. But what happens is, of course, not all what it seems. This ship is infested with face huggers, and they got a lot of xenomorphs as well. So they're trying to fight for survival through these things. So that's basically what this movie's about. And I gotta tell you guys, man, this movie was so freaking good. You can tell that Fede Alvarez is a fan of the Alien movies, because he definitely captured what the first one gave us: the horror, the suspense, the thrill, the action, the music. The music even sounded like it was from the original movie as well. But you can definitely tell he mixed in the first and the second one into this one. I think this to me was a better movie than After Two. It's definitely my top favorite ones. And I just love that the practical effects in this one. I know he said he's going to use some practical effects with the creatures, and he did a really good job with those as well. The xenomorphs and some of the face huggers, really good job. I'm glad all of it wasn't CGI-ish kind of, and like they did with part 3. I think that whole time the xenomorph was a CGI. I think some parts, which you can tell was CGI, but in this one you can not really tell. I'm quite sure some parts may have been, but I couldn't really tell. But I think he did a really good job with the practical effects. I love the cast in this movie as well. I know this movie takes place in between the first and the second film, something like that. But the cast is great. I mean, the only ones I really know in this movie is the one they spotlight. Only two actors in this movie I know is one is the main character is the Kaylee Spaney. You know, we've seen her in multiple things. She was great in Priscilla. She plays a character named Rain. She's basically the Sigourney Weaver, Ellen Ripley of this movie. We got Isabella Mercer, who plays a character named Kay, and I've seen Isabella Mercer in movies for years, and she was also great in the movie, so no surprise there. And it's some new actor I've never seen or heard of, black dude. He's like the android in this movie named Andy, and I really enjoyed his android. Now it's funny because it's like this android felt more of a robotic kind of character than the past android. You know, they seem like they were more human. The way he acts in this movie, he's more of a robot kind of character. I mean, you know what I mean? He didn't really feel too much human to me because of the way he was acting. But I really enjoyed him. Man, like I said before, everything I named, everybody was great. The music, the tone, the practical effects, the suspense, the twists and turns, the thrills, everything. The music, action, everything was good. You can tell Fede Alvarez is a big fan of the Alien movies. Now, I would say this. I have somewhat of a teeny bit issue, but it's not that serious. The last 20 minutes, and maybe minor spoilers, not too much, it pulls a alien resurrection. It gets to a WTF moment in this movie. It gets so freaking bizarre. And I'm like, what am I watching now? This movie gets weird. And when it gets at the last 20 minutes of I guess you say the third act or whatever, it gets weird. That's might be my only gripe. But that thing, I'm not gonna say nothing else, but my God, it gets bizarre. Just prepare yourself. Because it gets to a different turn in this movie and it gets crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. It is a returning character from one of the old movies. I'm not gonna say who it is, but I like what they did with this character. So that was pretty cool with Fede Alvarez. You know, a little bit of a callback. He actually did a couple callbacks in this movie. Some lines, some stuff that I'm not going to name because I don't want to spoil too much for guys who haven't seen it. But he does somewhat callbacks. You know, a lot of movies got to do that when they do sequels. But it did a lot of that with Predator, Terminator. But that's all I'm going to say. Other than that last 20 minutes, I still enjoy this sequel better. To me, it's just as good as after the second movie because the rest of the sequels to me, I didn't really care for. I think this is far better than Prometheus, in my opinion, and Covenant. Definitely, the third movie, and it has, like I said, it has a little bit of resurrection sprinkled into it, but it didn't really mess the movie up for me too much. So, what I would give this movie, definitely a breath of fresh air of one of the good sequels out there of this series. I would give it a 9 out of 10. So, if you're an Alien fan, check this movie out. Just prepare yourself the last 20 minutes. It gets crazy. That's all I'm going to say. It gets freaking WTF moment. So check it out, guys. 9 out of 10 for me.